He is a big liar.
This man standing here, she pointed at Chike, is the father of my child. The entire hall erupted in murmurs. Girls pulled out their phones, recording the shocking moments.
Hello, welcome and welcome back. Please give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe.
Everyone in the city have been talking about one wedding. Banners were everywhere. Billboards carried the smiling faces of Adora, the rich bride, and Chike, the handsome groom. Their love story was the talk of the town. Banks, companies, and celebrities sponsored the wedding. Adora's father was a well-known business tycoon, and her mother wanted the event to look like royalty. Streets were decorated, hotels were filled, social media buzz. Every girl admired Adora's beauty. Every boy wished to be like Chike. But in the middle of all the excitement, a silent storm was waiting. Someone from Chike's past carried a secret heavy enough to break the marriage before it even started. The city was about to witness something it had never seen before. Adora stood before her mirror, smiling at her reflection. She wore a beautiful white gown imported from Paris. Her friends gathered around her, praising her elegance. "You look like a queen," one said. Her father came in with tears of joy, saying, "Today, my princess, you marry the man of your dreams." Adora blushed, holding tightly to her bouquet. Everything seemed perfect, yet her heart carried a small worry. She couldn't explain it, but something felt strange in the air. Outside, policemen blocked road, controlling heavy traffic. Governors, senators, and business tycoon had arrived. The wedding was trending everywhere online. The sound of drum filled the streets and dancers entertained the crowd. But deep in the city, a woman with a child clutched her chest, watching everything on a small phone screen. She whispered, "Chike, you cannot pretend forever. Today, the truth will come out." Chike adjusted his suit and smiled at his reflection. He looked sharp, confident, and ready to conquer. Friends patted his back, calling him the luckiest man alive. Cameras flashed as he entered the decorated car that would take him to church. People on the street clapped and cheered. "Chike, our in-law." Children ran after the convoy, screaming his name. But behind his smile, Chike's heart raced. He carried a secret he had buried for years. No one around him knew the story of a certain woman he left behind. He never expected her to appear in the city again, but fate was cruel. As the convoy approached the church, a thought pierced his mind. What if she comes today? He quickly shook it off, forcing another smile. But destiny was already waiting at the church gates. The church was filled with decoration of gold and white. Expensive lights sparkled as if the heavens had descended. Guests filled every corner, dressed in their best clothes. Outside, the crowd stood like a sea, waiting to catch a glimpse of the bride and groom. When Adora arrived, people screamed in excitement. Her wedding gown flowed like waters, her veil covering her glowing face. Chike was already waiting at the altar, forcing calmness. Camera rolled, the priest smiled, ready to begin. But as Adora walked down the aisle, something strange happened. The big doors of the church suddenly opened wide. Everyone turned. A woman carrying a small boy walked in. Her voice shook the entire church as he shouted, "Stop this wedding! This man standing here is a liar." Gasps filled the hall. The city's biggest wedding was about to stop. The woman stood boldly at the center of the aisle. Her dress was old and faded, but her eyes carried fire. The boy beside her looked frightening, holding her hands tightly. "This man," she pointed at Chike, "is the father of my child." The entire hall erupted in murmurs. Guests pulled out their phone, recording the shocking moments. Adora froze. Her bouquet trembled in her hand. Chike's face turned pale. The priest was speechless. "What nonsense is this?" one of Chike's friends shouted. But the woman did not move. "Chike, you abandoned me when I needed you most. You left me with this child, and today you want to marry another woman like nothing happened?" The boy's eyes searched the groom's face. A painful silence filled the church. The wedding that had stalked the city had truly stopped. Adora's legs shook as if they would fail her. Her heart pounded loudly, drowning the noise around her. She turned to Chike, searching his eyes for denial, for truth, for something. But Chike stood frozen. His lips moved, but no words came out. The priest tried to calm the situation, but the church was already in chaos. "Is this true?" Adora whispered, her voice breaking. Cameras zoomed in. Social media exploded. Bride wedding interrupted. The woman raised her voice again. "Yes, it is true. Chike is the father of my child. Ask him." The boy squeezed her hand, whispering, "Mama, is he really my papa?" Adora's tears dropped into her gown. Her father rose in anger, pointing at Chike. "Answer her now. Tell us who this woman is." Everyone held their breath. The truth was about to shatter the city. Chike finally spoke, his voice trembling. I know her." The entire hall gasped. Adora covered her mouth. Her father's eyes widened. "You know her?" Chike lowered his head. "Yes, years ago, before I met Adora, I had a relationship with her." He looked at the woman. "Amaka, please don't do this here." But Amaka shook her head. "Don't silence me, Chike. For years, I struggled alone. You promised to marry me, then disappeared when I told you I was pregnant." Tears rolled down her cheeks. The church turned into a storm of whispers. Some guests pitied Amaka, others cursed Chike. Adora's world crumbled. Her dream wedding was turning into a nightmare before her eyes. The city that had come to celebrate now witnessed shame, betrayal, and heartbreak. Inside and outside the church, arguments broke out. Some shouted, "Cancel the wedding." Others said, "It is a lie. She wants money." Reporters outside broadcasted the scandal live. The wedding of the year has stopped midway. Meanwhile, Adora's bridesmaid tried to hold her. "Please calm down," they whispered. But she pulled away, her eyes locked on Chike. "Is the boy your son?" she asked. Silence filled the air. The little boy stepped forward, his innocent eyes fixed on Chike. "Papa," he called softly. Adora gasped loudly, dropping her bouquet. Amaka cried harder. "You see? Even he knows." Chike's lips trembled. He wanted to deny it, but the boy's eyes pierced him with the truth. The city was watching, and the world was about to know who he really was. Adora's father stomped forward, his voice thundering through the church. "Chike, you brought shame into my family. You deceived us. You hid a whole child." His fist shook as guards tried to calm him. "You think you can marry my daughter with this kind of disgrace?" Adora's mother wept, holding her chest. Adora herself could not stop crying. "Why didn't you tell me?" she screamed at Chike. The wedding guests murmured, some standing to leave. The priest looked helpless, whispering prayers. But Chike, struggling to speak, said, "I was young. I was foolish. I didn't know how to face it." Amaka shouted, "Liar! You knew and you ran away. Today, everyone will know the truth." The wedding had turned into a battlefield, and the truth was now inescapable. Amaka stood with shaking hands, raising her voice louder than ever. "I begged you, Chike. I cried at your door. I told you I was carrying your child. You slammed the door on me and vanished. I struggled alone while you built a new life. Do you know how many nights this boy slept hungry?" The church felt silent, listening to her pain. Adora's heart broke as she imagined the suffering. "Chike, "How could you?" she whispered. Chike's face darkened with shame. The boy looked up confused, asking, "Papa, is it true?" Amaka hugged him tightly. "Don't worry, my son. Today, the world knows the truth." Guests whispered in pity. Some cried, others shook their head. Adora covered her face, wishing she could disappear. But the storm was only beginning. Chike finally dropped to his knees, his voice shaking. "Please forgive me. I was scared. I didn't know how to handle it back then. I made a terrible mistake." He turned to Adora. "Adora, you are my love. Please, don't let my past destroy our future." But Adora shook her head. "You lied to me, Chike. You hid the most important truth. You let me plan this entire wedding, knowing this will happen." The guests murmured again. Some said, "He is still a liar." Others said, "At least he admitted it." Amaka's eyes burned with anger. "You want forgiveness now? After years of silence?" The boy clung to her dress, afraid. Chike's tears dropped on the altar floor, but forgiveness was far away. Adora wiped her tears, her voice trembling but firm. "This wedding cannot continue." The hall exploded in gasps. Her father shouted, "Yes, cancel it now." But Chike's friends tried to defend him. "Please, give him a chance," one pleaded. Adora shook her head. "Marriage is built on trust. You broke that trust before we even started." She pulled off her veil, throwing it on the ground. The crowd murmured louder. "The wedding is over," Adora declared. Reporters outside spread the news instantly. "Breaking! Bride cancel wedding at the altar." Social media exploded with comments. Adora walked out of the church, her gown dragging heavily behind her. The city's biggest wedding had turned into the city's biggest scandal. Chike remained on his knees, watching his world collapse. Guests whispered as they left, "He ruined his life. What a disgrace." Poor Adora. Some of his friends abandoned him. Even his best man shook his head in disappointment. Chike buried his face in his hands, weeping bitterly. Amaka stood with her son, victorious yet broken. She didn't come to destroy Adora. She only wanted Chike to face the truth. But seeing the shame before everyone made her heart heavy. The boy looked at Chike. "Papa, don't cry." Chike's tears fell harder. He had lost Adora, lost the respect of the city, and now faced the reality of being a father he never acknowledged. News of the cancelled wedding spread through the city like wildfire. Radio stations, TV news, and bloggers reported it. The wedding of the year stopped by a secret child. Offices discussed it. Social media memes flooded everywhere. Some pitied Adora, others mocked her. Many cursed Chike. Some said Adora was wise to cancel. Others argued she should have forgiven him. Traffic in the city stopped as people gathered in groups to discuss. Even people in village far away heard the news. Adora stayed in her room, crying endlessly. Chike hid from the cameras chasing him. Amaka and her son returned into their small house, wondering if they have done the right thing. The city was restless. Adora's father stormed into the press, his voice filled with anger. "My daughter will not marry a liar. Let this be a lesson to every man who thinks he can deceive women. We are done with Chike." His words trended everywhere. Adora's friend comforted her, but her heart was broken. She deleted pictures of Chike from her phone. Chike, on the other hand, sat alone, thinking of his mistakes. He remembered the days he left Amaka, the days he walked away from his responsibilities. Guilt consumed him. His career, his respect, and his future were shattered. The wedding had not only stopped the city, it has destroyed lives. That night, Amaka's son cried softly, "Mama, why does Papa not want us?" Amaka hugged him tightly, her heart breaking. "He is weak, my child, but never forget, you are strong and you are loved." She wiped his tears and prayed silently. Meanwhile, Chike walked the empty street, avoiding reporters. His heart burned with regret. He wanted to reach out to his son but feared rejection. Adora couldn't sleep, her pillow soaked with tears. Her dream had become her nightmare. The city lights shone bright, but in different homes, hearts were heavy with pains. The city split into two sides. Some said Adora did the right thing. Others said she should have forgiven Chike. Women praised her courage. Men shook their head, saying he made a mistake but deserved mercy. Debate filled television programs and radio talk shows. People compared their own stories. Many women cried, remembering men who abandoned them. Adora tried to stay away from the noise, but her name remained everywhere. Chike tried to hide, but reporters found him. They asked, "Will you marry Amaka now?" He had no answer. Amaka herself stayed quiet, focusing on her son. The scandal had become bigger than anyone expected. Days passed. Chike finally went to Amaka's house. She was shocked to see him at the door. "What do you want?" she asked coldly. He knelt, crying, "Forgive me, I was wrong. I want to be a father to my son." The boy peeped from behind her, whispering, "Mama, let him in." Amaka's heart softened slightly, but she remained cautious. "It's not about me, Chike. You owe him, not me." Chike promised to take responsibility, to care for the boy, to never run away. Amaka sighed. She had heard such words before, but something in his eyes showed true regret. The boy hugged him. Chike's tears fell as he whispered, "Papa is here now." Adora slowly healed with time. Her father shielded her from the noise. Her friends encouraged her, reminded her she deserved honesty and love. She focused on her career, traveling and building herself again. Though the pain was deep, she grew stronger each day. She forgave herself for trusting the wrong man. One night, she looked at the city lights and whispered, "I will love again, but this time wisely." Meanwhile, Chike worked to repair his life. He was no longer the city golden groom, but he was learning to be a father. Amaka remained watchful, but allowed him into their life. The boy smiled more. Healing was slow but real.
Let me know in the comment section if you want a part 2 of this story. Please do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video to as many friends as possible. See you guys in my next one. Until then, remain blessed, stay blessed, and also stay kind. Bye.